Hey guys, can you guess what look I'm doing this week? Well, you don't need to guess because it's in the title. But yes, I am doing Twiggy after God knows how many requests. A lot of people requested Twiggy. So if you want to see how to recreate this 60s Twiggy inspired makeup, then keep watching. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop some concealer under my eyes, and I'm doing that because I'm wearing powder foundation today, so I just find the concealer is a little bit easier to blend in before I put the powder foundation on. And I'm using Benefit's Erase Paste in number 1 Fair. Let's pop that on with a Sigma E40 brush. I find this product is quite kind of viscous, it's quite thick, so I do like to just take my finger and kind of press it into the skin and blends it in a little bit better. Now the foundation I'm going to be putting on is actually the foundation that I got in the laser skincare clinic where I got the laser done to remove my pigmentation. So it's a mineral foundation, and it's kind of been specifically formulated for use after your skin has gone through something like that. So there's no chemicals in it, there's no talc in it, very, very gentle. The particles are so big in it that it can't be absorbed by the skin. So it just sits on top of the skin and it provides a natural SPF. And I got it just because I kind of had to wear it. It's the only makeup I'm really allowed to wear while my skin is healing, and I have to say I love it. I love it, I love it. I've never really worn mineral foundation before, like proper. I've tried it, but I've never actually worn it as like my everyday foundation, and oh my god, it is so easy. So I think I will definitely be repurchasing this. So it's a solid, like it's a baked mineral like that. And they're just called, it's just called Bicea, so it's their own brand. It's the brand of the clinic that I got it done. I am 99% sure that they sell these on their online store, so I'll be sure to find the link and put it in the description box if it is something you're interested in trying. But yeah, I highly recommend them. But yeah, you'll see what it looks like now. I'm just going to buff it on with a kabuki brush. It's just so quick. And the great thing about the mineral powders are you can really adjust the coverage, like you can keep adding it and building it up to get full coverage, or you can just do a really, really light layer if you don't want it to be so heavy. And a trick that I've discovered works really well, just because I'm not able to put concealer on my skin, like really this is the only product I can use like on my skin where the treatment has been done. So instead of using concealer, I'm just taking the same powder again and a little MAC 217 brush. Just anywhere I do need that extra coverage, I'll just dab it on, and it'll just give like another kind of layer of it just where I need it. And the coverage is great. I'm just going to finish the skin now before I move on to the eyes. And in all of the pictures that I'm looking at, she has bronzer on this. It doesn't really look like blush, or if it is blush, it's just a very kind of earthy, kind of peachy tone. So I'm just going to use Benefit's Hoola Bronzer. I shouldn't really be using this. I shouldn't be putting this on my skin, but I'll make an exception for you guys. And I'll probably take it off as soon as I'm finished recording anyway. So it's definitely applied in a contouring kind of way from the back of the cheekbone. Alright, I'm going to move on to the brows, and I'm just combing them upwards with a spoolie first. Taking my trusty MAC Lingering Brow Pencil. The shape of her brows is actually not entirely dissimilar to mine, so yay! Easy brows to do for a change. And then just taking some Omega eyeshadow by MAC and a Sigma angle brush. Just set the top of that. I don't know if you've noticed this when I'm filling in my brows actually, but I always, whenever I put the product onto the brush, and then I always start applying from kind of the middle of the brow and go backwards, and then whatever's left on the brush I bring through the front, because I never want the front, this area of my brow, to be too dark. So I just don't want to put too much product on there, so I like to kind of get rid of a lot of the product through this kind of outer half of the brow and then go back and do the inner half. Alright, I'll just do the other brow and come right back to you. Alright, brows are on. Now I'm going to prime my eyelids, and I'm using MAC's Painterly Paint Pot. Just putting that on with my fingers. Make sure I get it right up under the brow as well. Alright, next I'm taking some MAC Blanc type eyeshadow and a Sigma. I believe it's an E50 brush, but I will let you know for sure in the description box. I can never remember the name of the Sigma brushes. I'm just using this to act as a bit of a brow highlight and just set the paint pot on my brow bone. And a little bit, I'm not going to bring it all the way onto the eyelid, but just kind of about as far as my crease. I'm going to be using a cream eyeshadow on my socket, not on my socket, on my eyelid, so I don't want to put a powder there. It might make the cream a little bit more difficult to blend. Alright, so for the colour of the eyelid, I'm going to be doing that kind of 60s powder blue colour that Twiggy and a lot of the models of the time would have worn. But the problem is I don't actually have an eyeshadow that's exactly that colour, so I've mixed up my own eyeshadow. Now I just want to show you a good attempt and a bad attempt at mixing up the eyeshadow. So the products that I've used, the first one is the MAC Chromographic Pencil in High Def Cyan. I love this pencil, I use it all the time. It is a pro product, so you can only get it in pro stores, unfortunately. So this is my attempt at mixing it with MAC Painterly Paint Pot. It's the kind of grey blue here. Obviously the kind of fleshy tone in the paint pot has dulled the blue colour an awful lot. And then this is mixing it with MAC's Fascinating Eye Kohl. Obviously I'm going to be using this one because it looks so much closer to the colour. It's just not going to be a very long lasting product. So hopefully with the paint pot underneath it, like as a base on my eye, it'll help it to last a little bit longer. And also because I'm only going to be taking it as far as the crease, it should last a little bit longer. But if you have a straight up eyeshadow that's this colour, just use that. So I'm just going to paint that all over the eye. I'm not going to put it on too thick, again just because I don't want it to melt off. Now onto the crease, and obviously her crease is the signature part of this look, very, very defined, almost like a line through the crease. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to kind of shade it in a little bit first, and I'm using MAC's Copper Plate eyeshadow. And just with a MAC pencil brush, I think it's a 216, yeah. I'm going to trace into and slightly above my socket and the whole way around. I've actually tried to make a Twiggy tutorial in the past. In fact, I think I've actually tried to do it twice before, and every time it looks awful on me. So I don't really have high hopes for this being a very flattering look for me. It just makes my eyes look really tired. But every time I've always kind of gone in with a really, really dark colour into the crease initially, like gone in with black liner or something, and it just doesn't work. So I'm starting off softly this time, and hopefully it'll come together in the end. I come to this outside bit here, just bring in the line down. So I'm extending it a little bit past the outside corner of my eye. And then just taking a clean 226 brush by MAC, I'm just going to blend that edge a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go into Carbon by MAC, which is just matte black, onto the same 216 brush. And I'm going to be a little bit more gentle with the brush this time. I'm just taking a fine liner brush. This is a MAC 211, and again on Carbon. And I'm just going to go right into kind of the center of that black line, just to give more depth, make it look more like a line so it doesn't look so smudged. And then I'm just going back into my concoction on my hand. I'm just going to bring it up to meet the line on the outside corner there. And also just clean up. Okay, so I figured out why this makeup isn't flattering on me, and it's because it totally exaggerates the fact that I've got a slightly lazy eye. My right eye closes more than my left eye, so you can probably see. See, it totally exaggerates it. Anyway, it won't look so bad once the lashes and stuff are on. But now I'm going to do the liner using black Maybelline gel liner and a MAC 210 brush. So that is the kind of shape that we're going for. So for the lower lash line, from what I can see in photos, Twiggy did one of two things. She either had false lashes on her lower lash line or she drew in false lashes with eyeliner. So I'm going to draw them in because I don't really have eyelashes that would suit this look. If you wanted to use false eyelashes, which would definitely be the easier of this option, MAC number 7 lashes are the perfect lashes for this. So just so you know, but I'm going to draw it. And I have a few of these really fine tipped Q-tips just to clean up as I go. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dot in where I want the lashes to be first. One there. Alright, I'm just putting mascara on now and I'm using MAC's Opulate. And I'm going to have to put lots and lots of mascara on because I thought I had false lashes for my top lashes that would work with this, but I don't. So sorry for being a bit of a failure as a beauty guru there, but lots and lots of mascara will work just as well. And I'm kind of using, you know that tip of the mascara that has like that blob? I'm using that to kind of poke into the roots of my lashes and then combing it through, so I'm getting absolutely loads of product on my lashes. Alright, and then all we need to do is put some lip gloss on, and I'm using MAC's Pro Longwear lip gloss in the colour Infinitely Likeable. Oh, that's a sticky gloss. And I'm just going to rub it in with my fingers. And that is my finished Twiggy look. So I hope you like it. I hope you learned something from it. I don't know if it's my favourite look, I have to say. As I said, this is my 3rd attempt making this video, and every time I've never been happy with it. This is the happiest I've been with the execution of the makeup, but I just have come to the conclusion that this style of makeup, I don't think it suits me at all. I think with my shaped eyes, my eyes are quite like they do have a little bit of a downturn. I wish I had almond eyes, but I don't. My eyes turn down at the outside corners, and I think this shape really exaggerates that, which I don't particularly like on myself. I prefer to lift my eyes because the grass is always greener and we always want what we don't have. I actually think this could be adapted to be a really beautiful look if you just go a little bit easier with the contour and maybe skip the fake lashes on the lower lash line. I think it's a really pretty look. Anyway, I've been talking for way too long, so as usual there will be more photos of the finished look on my blog, so you can head over there and I'll have all the products listed on my blog as well as in the description box down below. So if you're wondering what was the brush I used for the brows or whatever, all of that will be listed in the description box, as well as links to all my social media, so my Facebook page, my Twitter page, all of that stuff is down there. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it, guys. I think next week I might do Sophia Loren. Twiggy was definitely the most requested this week, but there's been an awful lot of requests for Sophia Loren, so we'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon. Bye!